Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 13 series that I would like to start reading or finish reading in 2026. The first one is the Nightingale trilogy, and this is a fantasy. I am so excited to get to the next books in this series. I recently read this first one and gave it a 4.5 star. It was very, very good, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the upcoming 2 books. To give you an idea of what this is about, it says, what if you could edit memories with a single touch? The world that was is gone, lost to everything except living memory. But remembering comes at a terrible price. 62 years after the apocalypse, a new society has emerged from the ashes of the old world, where highly valued memories are traded and nostalgia is worth dying and even killing for. Enslaved by a cruel master, Stephanie Winter is forced to use her rare ability to manipulate memories to numb the darkest secrets of the ruling aristocracy. Then Lord Adamo appears, speaking of a powerful relic capable of permanently erasing memories and recovering Stephanie's own lost childhood. But not everything about the young lord is as it seems, and soon Stephanie must choose between helping Lord Adamo fight his past or journeying deep into the land of Lith, where the truth about who she really is might finally be revealed, and a long-desired future restored. So like I said, the first book was very, very good, and I'm looking forward to the rest and hopefully completing this trilogy in 2026. All of the books are out, so I can grab them and go, which is fantastic. The next series I would like to read in 2026 is Danger Never Sleeps by Lynette Eason. The first book in this one is Collateral Damage. There are 4 books in this series. Lynette Eason is one of my favorite romantic suspense authors, and I have read, I don't even know how many books by her at this point. I have read most of her series. I'm pretty sure I've read most of her series and even most of her standalones. So I've read a lot of her books, but this is one of her series that I have not read a single book in, but I've heard really good things, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. The next is the Out of Time series by Nadine Brandis, and the first one is A Time to Die, and it says on the back, how would you live if you knew the day you'd die? So our main character has her days counting down, and at 17, she actually only has about a year left of life, and so this is her journey to figure out what to do about that, if anything she can do about that. And she's actually cast outside of where her people are and must survive and figure out what is actually going on. The next series is The Legends of Neverland, and this is by Mary, I don't know if it's Meacham or Metcham. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce her last name, but this looks really interesting. She does a lot of fairy tale retellings, and this one is Becoming Hook, which is a Peter Pan retelling, and it's got Hook in it, and it also has Tinkerbell, and it's a completely different take on that particular fairy tale. I believe right now there are maybe 4 or 5 books in this series, but I think there's a new one coming out in 2026. So if I really like these, there's going to be plenty more stories to lose myself in. Staying in the vein of fairy tale retellings, but with a slightly different twist, is the Texas Ever After series. I wanted to read the first book in this series this year. I actually had it on one of my monthly TBRs, did not make it to it, and I'm really sad about it because I think it's going to be really good. These are by Karen Whitmire. I have read another series by her and really loved it. She does a great job. I am looking forward to these fairy tale retellings. They are set in historical Texas, but with that little bit of fairy tale vibe to it, and so very much looking forward to these. This first one is a Snow White retelling, but I believe I think the other 2 are Cinderella retelling and Sleeping Beauty, perhaps. I can't remember for sure, but there are 3 books in this series, and it's one that I definitely want to read in 2026. The next series I'd like to read is the Fog Harbor series by Nicole Deese. I have heard that these are amazing contemporary romances with a lot of depth and character development, very unique stories, and ones that kind of stick with you. I've heard that the romances are really good, and then the topics that are covered are also really good. The back of this one says 3 friends, 2 broken promises, and 1 missing manuscript. I already want to know what happens here. A missing manuscript? I'm already intrigued as a writer. I want to know what's going on in this book. But this sounds like it's going to be an exceptional series. I can't wait to jump into this one. Another young adult fantasy series is The Lost Princesses by Jodi Headland, and this is the first book in that series called Evermore. Now, I've read the prequel to this series. It was a prequel novella, and it was really, really good. For a novella that wasn't all that long, she did an amazing job with pulling you into the story and really getting you to care about the characters. So I'm excited to see what she does with the actual novels in this series and what these are like. So again, young adult fantasy, another one that I think is going to be a lot of fun. It says an ancient key, a secret treasure, and a princess destined to use them both to fight evil and restore peace. So looking forward to these. Another romantic suspense series is the Tupelo Grove novels, and these are by Colleen Coble and Rick Acker. I have read another book that was by these two authors called I Think I Was Murdered, and it was very good. I did enjoy that book. I can't wait to check out this series. It says on the back, family secrets, historical wrongs, and the truths that refuse to stay buried. And it says Savannah Webster is trying to find her way forward. She and her husband have been separated since tragedy tore them apart, and he began numbing his grief and guilt with alcohol. She returned to Tupelo Grove University, which her family helped found over a century ago, to teach history. Oh, that sounds like fun. As a person who loves history, I'm intrigued by that. When Hez turns up in her classroom asking for a second chance, she rejects the idea immediately. But 24 hours later, she's under suspicion for murder, and since Hez is the best attorney she knows, she reluctantly asks him for help. They suspect the murder is tied to someone selling off the university's pre-Columbian artifacts, but the secrets go much deeper than they realize. So this looks really good. Romantic suspense, but also incorporating elements of history. I cannot wait to check this series out. Another series is The Women of Midtown by Elizabeth Camden. These are historical fiction. Elizabeth Camden does quite an amazing job with her characters and really pulls you in to the history and to their lives. Her historical fiction a lot of times carries elements of mystery, and there's usually quite a bit of adventure, intrigue, betrayal, different things happening in her stories. I think right now there's maybe 3 of these, and I don't remember. I think the latest one was released either earlier this year or it's coming out early next year. But there are a few of these in this series, and I am looking forward to reading them. Really enjoy this author's writing and cannot wait to explore some new stories by her. Another fantasy series is the Ravenwood Saga, and these sound really interesting. It says Dreamwalker, Nightwatcher, Lady of Ravenwood. So the main character is heir to the house of Ravenwood and the secret family gift of dreamwalking. As a dreamwalker, she can enter a person's dreams and manipulate their greatest fears or desires. Soon after the gifting, however, Celine discovers that the Ravenwood women have been secretly using their gift to gather information or to assassinate those responsible for the fall of House Ravenwood to the Dominia Empire hundreds of years ago. As she becomes more entrenched in Ravenwood's dark past, Celine longs to find out the true reason behind her family's gift, believing that its original intent could not have been for such evil purposes, but she is torn about upholding her family's legacy, a legacy that supports her people. Celine's dilemma comes to a head when she is tasked with assassinating the one man who can bring peace to the nations, but who is also prophesied to bring about the downfall of her own house. One path holds glory and power and will solidify her position as Lady of Ravenwood. The other path holds shame and likely death. Which will she choose? And is she willing to pay the price for the path chosen? So this looks really intriguing. I'm excited for this one. I was hoping to read this first book this year, but didn't get a chance to. There are just so many good stories, y'all. Like, it is so hard to fit them all in. There's just a never-ending stream. But what's good about that is we never run out of fun things to read, and this is one of them that I'm really looking forward to. Another contemporary romance series is the State of Grace novels, and these are by Tammy L. Gray. First one, Love and a Little White Lie. I've heard that these are really sweet romances. I don't know a whole lot about them beyond that, but I've heard that the characters, their romance, the stories, the plot are just extremely, extremely good. There are also 2 other series that I don't physically own right now, so I can't show those. I'll just put a picture up on the screen. But that is Harbored Secrets by Natalie Walters. I haven't read anything by Natalie Walters yet, but she's supposed to be a really fantastic romantic suspense author, and I'm excited to explore that series by her. The first book in that series is called Living Lies, and it says, in the little town of Walton, Georgia, everybody knows your name, but no one knows your secret. At least that's what Lane Kent is counting on when she returns to her hometown with her 5-year-old son. Dangerously depressed after the death of her husband, Lane is looking for hope. What she finds instead is a dead body. Lane must work with Walton's newest deputy, Charlie Lynch, to uncover the truth behind the murder. But when that truth hits too close to home, she'll have to decide if saving the life of another is worth the cost of revealing her darkest secrets. So this looks really interesting. I'm excited to explore this series and this author. And the last series I'm looking forward to reading in 2026 is Alaskan Courage by Dani Petrie. I've read the first book in this, and it was really, really good. It's about a group of siblings who live in the Alaskan wilderness, and they get pulled into a lot of different interesting mysteries, and there's for sure suspense elements and romance in each of those books. Just to give you an idea of what these are like, this is a little bit of the plot of the first one. It says a sabotaged plane and 2 dead deep water divers. Yancey, Alaska was a quiet town until the truth of what was hidden in the depths off the coast began to appear. Bailey Craig vowed never to set foot in Yancey again. She has a past and a reputation, and Yancey's a small town. She's returned to bury a loved one killed in the plane crash and is determined not to stay even an hour more than necessary. But then dark evidence emerges, and Bailey's own expertise becomes invaluable for the case. Cole McKenna can handle the deep sea dives and helping the police recover evidence. He can even handle the fact that a murderer has settled in his town and doesn't appear to be moving on. But dealing with the reality of Bailey's reappearance is a tougher challenge. She broke his heart, but she is not the same girl who left Yancey. He let her down, but he's not the same guy she left behind. Can they move beyond the hurts of their past and find a future together? That first book was really, really good, and I enjoyed getting to know not only the 2 main characters, but also Cole's family and the other people who kind of weave in and out of the story. There's a lot of great side characters, and several of those characters go on to get their own book further along in the series. There are, I believe, 5 books in this series, so that means I have 4 more ahead of me, and I'm excited to spend more time with these characters in these books. So that's it. Those are 13 different series that I am excited to read in the new year in 2026. I'll have to see how many I'm actually able to cross off my list. I thought it'd be fun to do 13 because I did 26 books I'd like to read in 26, and just divide that in half and we'll have 13 series that I want to read in 2026. Are there any series that you're especially looking forward to reading in 2026? Either ones that you've started or ones that you're excited to start in the new year? If there are, definitely leave a comment below letting me know what those are. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you all so very much. And as always, remember to keep following your dreams and believing in the magic of this thing called life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.